Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session and happy Raksha Bandhan to all of you. Radhe Radhe Nitinji, over to you.
Radhe Radhe Pallavi. Thank you, Prakashji and Sunil Bhai, for a wonderful session and a beautiful meditation. So, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. We've been talking about Karm Yog, and today we will do a put it all together. We'll stitch it all together because we have been touching upon each tenet of Karm Yog individually, and today we'll try to put it all together. So very warm welcome to all of you. Let me get started by sharing my screen, and we will get started. Wait a sec. Let me share my screen. I hope I'm sharing the right screen. All right, yes. Okay, so we'll get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru, like we always do. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right. So good morning, good evening once again to all of you. Let's get started. So we are on 4.20 as part of these shlokas, we are discussing Karm Yoga in more detail because all these shlokas are talking about
karma phala sangam nityatra shrayaha.
All right, so let me recite it and then you're welcome to follow along. Yaktva karma phala sangam nityatripto nirashrayah karmanyabhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Okay.
Radhe Radhe. Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya.
Radhe Radhe. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatripto nirashrayah karmanyabhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha.
Very nice, wonderful. Who's next?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Surya Prakash ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatruto nirashraya karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice, thank you.
Radhe Radhe. Shyam ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatripto nirashrayah karmanyebhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Radhe Radhe, thank you, Shyamji.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyebhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice, thank you. Dinesh ji.
Yeah, Prabhat ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Tattva karma phala sangama nityatripto nirashaya karmanye abhipravrittopi निव्या किंचित करोति स. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Bhagat. All right, we have 3 more hands.
Yes.
Let's take
Samji, Radhe Radhe. Please go
Radhe
ahead.
Radhe.
Yeah.
it. Samji.
Pravakta phala sangam nityatritto nirashyan karmanya pravrittopi nayad kinchat karoti saha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice. Thank you, Samji. All right, last 2 hands.
Yeah. Payalji, Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe. Okay.
Riya ji. हाँ, Riya
Oh,
ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe. Please go ahead. Yes.
त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः.
Very nice. Thank you, Riya ji. Uday ji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Uday ji.
Alphonse
Please
ji,
go
you
ahead.
have to put your name.
त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्य अभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank
All right. Okay, Sandhya ji. Radhe Radhe. Last but not the least, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Sandhya ji. Please go ahead.
Thank you. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. Thank you.
Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you. So let's get started. In this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying that such people, having given up attachment to the fruits of their actions, are always satisfied and not dependent on external things. Despite engaging in activities, they do not do anything at all. So let's move on. Let's start with our soul soup segment. What do we have for this today? Okay, so let me pose a question. Which one is easier? To be easy or to be difficult? Anybody who wants to take a shot at it? Yes, Shyamji, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. It's easy but difficult than to be easy.
Easy to be difficult than to be easy. Okay. Yes, Sandhya, you wanted to add something?
Radhe Radhe. Sandhya ji. Please go ahead.
In my opinion, it depends upon the sanskar, the gunas of an individual.
Sanskar, gunas. You gave some very deep explanation to that. But yeah, nevertheless, let's understand this concept that I wanted to bring in. So, yes, it is easy. It is difficult to be easy and easy to be difficult. It's a little paradoxical, but this is how it goes. See, to become complicated is not a big deal. Life will anyway make you complicated, right? But to become simple and easy takes effort. And that is how the whole, game unfolds. If you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, on one hand, you have a baby, right? Or the kids who are pretty innocent, who are completely nirashrit and simple. They don't have any kapat and all that stuff in their heads, right? And on the other hand, as we grow up, we learn all the chars we see and we start becoming street smart, so to say. So in that sense, who is more favorite to God, right? Of course, the one who is more innocent and simple, right? In Ramayana also, Lord Ram Bhagwan says, Chal Kapat Chidradi, when you come with Saral Swabhav, then you become Priya to me. Even in the material world, if you look at it, when we are simple, mother keeps taking care of us, right? When we are dependent or when we are simple, But the very first lesson on becoming clever or street smart, it starts from our home only, right? Mother says, you know what? When the neighbor would come and she will ring the bell, you open the door and tell the neighbor mother is not at home. And then when the neighbor comes, the kid opens the door and tells the neighbor, you know, my mother had told when the neighbor will come, tell the neighbor that mother is not at home. So this is what the child says. And then what happens? After that, he gets a tight slap, right? And then for the first time, when the kid lies to the mom, he gets a tight slap. And just imagine that kid's fate if he goes on to tell his mother, you only taught me the first lesson. Okay, I was just doing the same. Then he's going to get a series of slaps after that. So the point here is, for us to operate in this world, we start picking up 400 BC and we start becoming complicated just because we have to manage people, manage perceptions, so many things we have to do, right? And that's where this dichotomy between being simple and both things we have to handle hand in hand on the path of spirituality, where you need to be street smart, apply your buddhi in the world. But when it comes to God, we have to become saral swabhav, easy. And that is essentially what spirituality is all about, to become saral swabhav, nishkapat when it comes to God. Not with the world as well. World also you need to be straightforward and simple, but that doesn't mean you become dumb. And that at the same time, that doesn't mean you become 420, right? So how do you manage both of these is up to you. You know, you figure out your game plan. But God loves innocence and clear mind. And that is and that should be our philosophy on this path. Buddhi in world, man in God. We do just the opposite. Our man is in the world and we apply buddhi to the topics of God. Okay, this is not possible, that is not possible. You know, we are not willing to believe in the words of saints and scriptures. Even Bhagavad Gita, we have our own interpretations around that. So that needs to be refrained from. So becoming easy is actually a difficult job. And because we have to unload so much of baggage that we have put on our head, and we are suspicious about everything around us, and we become complicated, even dealing in our day-to-day dealings with people around as well. But if we can become straightforward, it's a great skill to have and takes us closer to God, because God likes people who are nirashirit, right? And who are more dependent on him and who are straightforward, as opposed to people who are like, you know, always trying to manipulate and do things like that. So this is a key concept. Now, with that said, let's get on to the topic of our discussion, the Karm Yog that we are talking about. There are two aspects of work. So let's understand it from an analogy. We have been talking about there are two aspects of doing any work as well. One where we put our mind and intellect, and one where we have an attachment. So let's look at it from a different lens today as well. Two aspects of work: the external activity that we do. We are doing an external activity. In any job, we are doing an activity. And then our internal attitudes towards it. Okay, there are two aspects. One is what you are doing on the outside, and second is your attitude towards that work. So let's go a little deeper into that. It's a very simple example. So let's say there's a temple that is being built. It could be any other activity as well, but I picked up this example. Now, you have three people here. The first one engages in car seva, so he's doing a volunteer work. Okay. The second one, okay, one is car sevak. Okay, all three are basically doing the volunteer work. They are engaged in a sacred activity for the temple, so they are doing some volunteer work, all three of them. Now, the first person, he's concerned with the salary that he's going to get for the work that he's doing. Now, if other contractor offers higher wages, he will not mind switching jobs, because for him, the internal attitude towards that work is simply, what is that attitude? That I'm going to get my paycheck from this work. If I'm going to spend 8 hours or 10 hours per hour, I'm going to get 100 rupees or 500 rupees. I'll end up getting 5,000 rupees for the day, or $10 an hour, maybe $80 a day. That's all this person cares for. And if there is another thing which is in progress, which is getting built, and they are going to offer him $20, he'll not mind switching that. So he's doing this work, but the attitude towards the work is, the motivation behind that work is money. Then you have second person who has a big picture in mind, and he puts the effort with the motivation that he's contributing towards a holy cause. This temple will be built, deities will be established, people will come, and they'll benefit from it. So he's thinking, and then he's actually helping establish deities as well. So he's thinking the big picture, I'm actually working towards a holy cause. And he's getting paid for it, which is a bonus, but he's keeping the big picture in mind. And the third person who's engaging in Kar Seva, he's thinking, I'm doing it as a service to God. I'm helping him in this particular task where we are going to establish this temple and so many people are going to benefit from it. Okay, he's not concerned about the money at all. Okay, whether it's given or not given, kind of a deal. So all the three people are engaged in the same activity outwardly, but inwardly their attitude or the motivation towards that work is different. And this is what counts actually in Karm Yog as well. Okay, your external activity would remain the same, but for what purpose you are doing and in what consciousness you are doing is going to determine whether it is Karm Yog or not. Right? People normally think, what is Karm Yog? You do yoga in the morning, you do yoga in the morning, and then do Karm for the rest of the day. That becomes Karm Yog. That doesn't work that way. Karm Yog is a deeper consciousness. So let's go put all these aspects together. So this is how the hierarchy goes for the Karm Yog. Motivation for work, it starts with self-enjoyment. They are called miserly. If you are doing something just because you want to enjoy the results of it, I want to make money, I want to build a big house, get a car, my family is going to enjoy, I'll take the vacation trip, all that stuff is your only motivation for the work. This is at the lowest level, which is called, those people are called miserly. Above that is the next level, where you are detached from the fruits and dedicate their work to a higher cause. Now you're not detached to the work. You want to just do your best. You want to put in your 200% in whatever you do. Okay, that is Karm Yog, like they say, right? Do every work as if everything depends on you. Right? Everything depends on you. And then when it comes to the result, have an attitude as if everything depends on God. Both have to go hand in hand. You work as if everything depends on you, but when it comes to the result, it's like in God's hands. So they are detached from the fruit and dedicate their work to a higher cause. Okay, they are superior to that. And then the third are who offer the fruits of God to God. Basically, they are truly in knowledge. So in the second case, basically, you have a big picture in mind. You are doing your best in your work, but God is still not into the mix. It's like, okay, I'm contributing to a higher cause, right? But God is still not in the mix. You have the big picture in mind, but you are still not dedicating your works to the God. And even higher are the ones who offer the fruits to God. They are truly in knowledge. Okay, it's like the Arjun, the state that Arjun was in before he was going to fight. And after listening to Bhagavad Gita, even before listening to Bhagavad Gita, he was supposed to fight. He was going to fight. After listening to Bhagavad Gita, he still fought. He did not change, right? He still fought the war. What changed? What changed was his attitude towards the battle. Previously, he was fighting for his own honor for the kingdom, right? Or because he felt aggrieved by Kauravas. Now he was fighting the battle for the pleasure of God and offering the fruits to him, basically. So that attitude changed. External act was the same. So what is it saying? The Kripana is miserly. I think it's a Hindi Sanskrit word. It's used. Srimad Bhagavatam also says, Kripana are those who think that the ultimate reality consists only of sense objects produced from the material energy. So if we are only catering to our sense objects, right? Everything, why do we do everything? For money? No, we don't do it for money. We do it for the things that money can buy. Our attachment is to the sense objects. It could be money, it could be fame, it could be status, it could be family, whatever it is. We are essentially catering to your senses, so that I can enjoy, we can do the bhog, and that is the whole idea. So that those people who spend their life only in the pursuit of things for their own self, they are called miserly in our scriptures, very miserly. And what happens because of that? What happens is binding karma. In the pursuit of money, you will do some good things, you will do some bad things. In the pursuit of worldly acquisitions and possessions, you'll do something good, something bad. So karam vikaram khel is going on, game is going on, which will be a mixed bag of things. Some good things, some bad things, a mixed bag, and you will repeat in Mrityulok. And it's not even guaranteed that you will repeat as a human back to back. So it's only when we purify our intention or the motive behind our activity, then we are aligning to Karm Yog. Then it is called neutral karma, and it takes us closer to the God consciousness, is essentially what the message is here. Let's proceed further and look a little bit more on this topic. Now we looked at the motivation for work, right? Self-enjoyment. Then the big picture, it's not just self-enjoyment. And then the highest picture is where you offer it to God. So we spoke about the tenets of Karm Yog, right? That we have been talking about. So these all are applied in this science. So when you do for self-enjoyment, good karma plus bad karma would happen. When you do it for a larger picture, sattvic or good karma will happen. And when you do it for the pleasure of, and in both the cases, in first and second, you are doing binding karmas. Why? Because good karma, bad karma brings us to the Mrityulok, and good karma alone takes us to the Swarglok. And Swarglok is temporary. I've spoken about it, right? By the way, Swarglok is pretty exciting because we enjoy here in this world, right? That is why people fall for the lure of Swarglok also. There, the body is predominantly made up of Tej, right? Fire, that element, that is predominant in that. And that is why those people can transmit themselves from here and there. And there is no concept of, old age and all that stuff. They are like most beautiful, perfect bodies that they have. And the kind of sophisticated machinery and luxuries they can enjoy, one can only imagine. But it is all temporary. It's like going to a vacation or staying in a luxury hotel. When your money runs out, they will push you out of it. Not even a single day extra is given. And it is very painful when we fall from celestial abodes back into Mrityulok. When the attack of Rajagun happens, our soul is in deep misery at that point. Okay. So these are called binding karmas. If you are doing it for your own enjoyment, that is binding. Even if you are doing it for a higher cause, sattvic date, that is also binding. Only when you are doing it for the pleasure of God are you truly doing a karma, okay, which is called Karm Yoga. And that is what basically is non-binding karma, and it is called Karm Yoga as well, or karma as well. Okay, this is the key concept. By now, I think you've pretty gotten very familiar with it, what Karm Yoga is. Nevertheless, let's continue to build on it. So, inaction is the worst. Yesterday we spoke, right? Lord Krishna condemns inaction. Inaction is worst. If you procrastinate, if you don't do anything, if you are lazy, you're not making decision, you're not doing the needful, you're running away from your responsibilities, using spirituality as an excuse that I'm going to take sannyas, become a Baba, right? That is called inaction. It is very strongly condemned by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, contrary to popular belief that if you do Bhagavad Gita, you'll become a Baba, sannyasi, and one should do it in retirement. No, it's a manual you should apply in your day-to-day life. Inaction is strongly condemned. Now, after inaction comes, that's running away from your prescribed duties, right? Which is not good. Then comes action, but the action is directed towards sense gratification, and there is a attachment to the result as well. I'm doing it, oh my God, if I don't get it, what will happen? Or I'll fail, then I'm going to stress out. You are attached to the fruit of the actions. That is the second level. It's better than inaction, but still capping you, or still putting you in the karam vikaram cycle, which will repeat you in the material world. And you are doing it for your own sake, for your prestige, for your fame, so that people know you, you become popular, you have more possessions and all that stuff. Better than that is you are process oriented, but you are detached to the fruits. So now you're process oriented, you focus on the process, but you're detached to the fruits, right? Now, some of the elite athletes might fall into that category. I'm not saying they're detached to the results, but they're process oriented. However, and they dedicate their work to a higher cause also, but that is still not perfect. It is a well-directed karma, but still not perfectly directed karma. What is perfectly directed karma? Where you are process-oriented, detached to the fruits, and offering the fruits to God. right? Then you dedicate their service or their work to the service of God. That is the highest karma, non-binding karma or Karm Yog, so to say. Okay, so this is the hierarchy, how it goes. So we need to move away from inaction or increase the proportion of action, and then action with a proper consciousness, that becomes Karma. Hope it makes sense. All right. Now let's move on. Karm Yoga, renounce what? Now, what are you going to renounce? Let's understand that part. What are you truly renouncing? Action? No. Action is a part of your Karm Yoga. You have to do action. You have to do your day-to-day duties. You are maybe a professional, doctor, scientist, lawyer, whatever you are, student. You still have to do action. You have to do the needful. So action is not renounced. Sense of doership? Yes, it is renounced. Because we spoke about that concept, we are getting energy from the God, so we need to have a sense of gratitude there. Attachment to result? Yes, that is what is renounced. Fruits of actions? This is also a renounce. And then you offer it to God. This basically is the complete Karm Yoga thing for you. Okay. Action, no. Sense of doership, yes. Attachment to results, yes. Fruit for action, yes. And then you offer it to God and it becomes your Karm Yoga. So if you're doing all of it, then you are a Karm Yogi. All right. So this basically gives you the complete definition of Karm Yoga. Now let's move on. Summary quickly. So actions cannot be classified by external appearances. It is a state of mind that determines what inaction and action is. The minds of enlightened persons are absorbed in God, in godly consciousness. So if somebody is wearing a saffron cloth or big beard, doesn't mean he's a Baba or a sannyasi, right? It's what's going on inside truly determines it will inaction or action part of it, right? So we cannot get duped just by external appearances only. On the other hand, if Lord Krishna were to come in today's world, he'll be a cool dude. He will not be wearing the pitambar and, the things that we normally associate God with. He might be having gogs or maybe, in a very interesting attire that will be more contemporary. So it's the inner thing that matters, not the external appearances. That's the first thing. Yes, Pallaviji, you had a question?
Yeah, Nitinji, there's a question in chat from Ganpriya ji. Renouncing sense of enjoyment is also included in this?
Renouncing sense of enjoyment, we spoke about. That is, if you're indulging for yourself, that will not give you peace. That will give you a temporary satisfaction that we get from worldly things, but it does not last. And then when we are trying to enjoy, the bhog eventually leads to rog. Nobody has become happy by fulfilling the material desires. Nobody means nobody. It's a story of everybody's life. So what God says is, you do it with the purpose of, for the pleasure of God. It's just like, and then what you will get in return, that is a lasting peace, bliss, happiness that you've always been seeking. So we have to write that sentiment of not doing it for our own sake. It's like, if I can earn more, I will give more. And if I'm skilled in something, I would do it for the service of Lord and make him basically bring it to the force, to the best of my ability, so that I can serve God in some way and for the pleasure of God. That mindset, how will you get that mindset? You will not get it in your profession, right? Because we are so conditioned to work for people and do that. Seva is a stepping stone for that. That is why you cannot undermine the significance of Seva. Seva is a stepping stone or the building block for you to have that consciousness. Because that's when you start doing something for which you're not getting paid. You are giving out your time, you're building in that commitment, and you're doing it for a higher cause. And that higher cause is not something related to human. That higher cause is a Seva of God and Guru. So that is the only way for you to build that or purify your consciousness. Not for your self-enjoyment. That is the key. Yes, Shweta ji?
Radhe Radhe, Shweta ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, everybody. I have a question.
Sure.
When you do spiritual seva or anything, you are not supposed to enjoy, and you don't expect anything in return, but it still generates kind of nice feeling. Is that wrong?
No, it's fine. See, God, when you associate yourself with sevas, Of course, God is not miserly. He will give you, but that is a superior level of bliss, sense of satisfaction. You can go on for hours without feeling tired, which is perfectly okay. You should not feel guilty. Oh my God, I'm feeling good. What's going on? It's okay. That is a high level of bliss and the peace that you are feeling, which is perfectly okay. But that should not stop you down or hamper your progress. Your attitude towards increasing your seva or that bhav should keep on increasing. Not that, okay, I've gotten it. And then even in seva, what happens is we start seeking our bliss. I want to do this. I don't want to do this. I should come to the fore. I should get visibility. Now you're just falling in for those traps as well. That should not happen. Seva is for the pleasure of God and Guru. Whatever works out. In that case, if we start doing that, then we are not taking the maximum benefit of seva. But that is fine.
Okay to feel
You're going to
good
get
now.
bliss for sure. When you do that, that satisfaction and bliss God will give you. So that, but it is a higher level of thing. It's not something that, see, even when you help somebody, you get a kind of a bliss, right? That
Correct.
sattvic bliss is better than the bliss that you get for yourself by drinking away to glory or
Sure.
partying with friends, right?
Sure.
Also some kind of a temporary bliss you get, but it is not lasting. When you help somebody, it's a higher level of bliss. When you're doing it for the seva of God, it's even higher level of bliss. So the quality of bliss is increasing, and which
So
is
as long as it is without expectation,
true, without
it is
expectation.
okay.
It's not like I want to feel happy. What if you are getting bliss in something and your guru tells you or there is a direction for you to do something completely different? What are you going to do then? Right?
Yeah.
Arjun was tested by Krishna so many times, even the battlefield. Do you think he would have killed Karan the way he did? His warrior or his stature would have or his ego would have taken a beating if he was not fully surrendered. But he said, okay, Krishna, you know best what I need to do, and he continued doing that. So God is will continue to test us, but we have to do it with a seva bhav, keeping the big picture. We often forget the big picture, for we think that seva is something, one of those things. Okay, it's going to get done. Somebody will do it, and we lose the big picture aspect of it. But it is a great opportunity for us to align to, the Karm Yog principle. Do it for the keeping the big picture in mind. It's like you are trying to become a profitable servant of God. What can be a bigger privilege than that? Right? Think of seva like that. Seva is not one of those things that you do or you will pick up only for your own happiness or only when it is convenient for you. You pick it up as a privilege, and that makes the whole difference, right? That whole attitude towards that act.
Okay. Thank you for explaining so beautifully. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Singh.
Yeah. Thank you, Nitinji. Seema ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead. Monica
Radhe
ji.
Radhe.
Monica ji,
Yes.
sorry.
No worries, no worries. I wanted to just share my personal experience about Seva, just 30 seconds or 1 minute, Nitinji, because
Sure.
of the question. So if we seek our own bliss while doing Seva, that's the time we might not feel the bliss. But if you do it for God and Guru, magical things happen. There's
True.
so many people. There's my own personal experience that I've met and experienced so many people who who I thought that probably are there for the seva, but then everybody is under Maya, right? So who knows? Even they don't realize that at times they're looking for their own selves. But then once you are connected to God and Guru, magical moments happens with you. Magical things happens with you. So yeah.
Very true. Thank you for pointing that out and calling that out, Monica ji. See, if you're doing it for your bliss, I'll tell you what will happen. You will pick up fights with people. You will stress out over the seva, and
Yes.
then you will seek, name, fame, prestige there as well. That is going to cause conflicts there. But when you're doing it with okay, I'm going to do my best, whatever comes my way, with keeping that picture in mind, then you get that peace, bliss that God will offer you at that point, right? He keeps on testing us. So don't fall for it, okay? Then if you're getting attached to the results there also, then you are forfeiting an opportunity to practice Karm Yoga while doing seva. That is
And bliss.
what drills we create. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just saying that the kind of bliss you'll get, there's no match for it. I mean, I've actually experienced every kind of people, every kind of pleasure, everything. But buck stops here. You give me $5 million, $500 million, I'm not going to exchange this with anything in the world.
Wow.
And another thing is, I mean, I have had programs or anywhere where people have actually committed and backed out the same very day. the same very moment, but then something else happens. Krishna just makes it happen. So Seva world, if you're doing it for truly for God and Guru, you are at a place that you don't want to, you will never trade off that place with anybody.
You are in a great spot for sure. Great
Yes.
spot for sure. And this is something that can only be realized when you are in the Seva world, when you do that. And you do that with intensity and commitment, then there is no looking back, because now you have tasted that thing. Right?
Yes.
If we keep ourselves at the surface only, we will never understand this concept. It's only when we do the deep dive and we have experienced the bliss of Karm Yog, we have experienced the bliss of, exerting ourselves for a bigger cause, then there is no looking back. But that initial inertia has to be shaken off, because a lot of people, they spend years and years and years and just dabbling at the surface because something stops them from taking that leap. Then they're missing out on that experience. That experience cannot be articulated, it can only be experienced. So thank you for pointing it out, Monica ji. Wonderful. Okay. So then in this state of mind, all actions, they are termed as akaram or inactions. Now one may say that, how are we going to, now what is the mathematics behind it? Okay, let's talk a little bit about mathematics. Karm Yog, how does it truly help us? Okay, I'm just going to throw some numbers to put it in perspective. Now let's say our age is 100. Okay, if these days anybody lives 100, they are very lucky. But let's say hypothetically, we like rounded up our triple digit numbers, 100. And then our scriptures say 1/10 of our time we should spend on spiritual things. And let's say the day you are born all the way up to 100, you are spending 1/10 of your time in pure spirituality, not even ritualistic stuff. Ritualistic, Om Jai Jagdish Hare, when you're thinking about the milkman and all that stuff, no. Pure spirituality means you are completely absorbed in God consciousness. You are thinking about God, doing the Seva, root dhyan, all the practice. It's all about God, nothing for your own sake. Let's say hypothetically, 2.4 hours you are spending every day, right? So that would be roughly 2.4 hours, 24 hours, right? Now, let's say if you are 100%, that means you're going to live for 100 years. Then you have 10 years for God realization. Okay, I'm just putting things in perspective. 10 years for God realization. I'm not even discounting the time you spend in lines, right? Chasing your ex, or fighting with people, or standing in queues and all that stuff. And then the study time and the youth time and all that stuff, how many distractions come around. That is all discounted. I've not accounted for it. So I'm just taking that perfect thing. So 10 years you have. And let's say somebody has 75 years of life, 7.5, and it's a simple calculation. Now, how many hours we typically work in a day? We typically work for 8 hours a day, right? Some people might be working 16 hours and all. It's not a good practice if you do that, but let's say 8 hours a day. And if you can add this principle of Karm Yog to your life, where you are doing it with the proper consciousness, you are directly increasing your odds by 3 times. Simply 3 times, 3x gain. Okay, that is the power of this particular thing. Now, the other good thing is, as part of practicing Karm Yoga or building that consciousness, I'm going to bring in all the shlokas where God is talking about building it as a continuity, nirantarta, and that sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmar, right? So sarveshu kaleshu state, if you have to reach 24/7 state, you have to reach. This is the stepping stone for that. When you do devotion, unless you are completely ready for Karam Sannyas, where you renounce your worldly duties as well, that is a different thing. But for 99% of the people, that is not a recommended path. Then you have to do some kind of a work. And if you're doing that work in proper consciousness, you are doing yourself a huge favor. Okay, that is the beauty of Karm Yoga, or the principles of Karm Yoga, purely in terms of numbers, okay, in front of you. So I hope you are able to appreciate the gravity of this particular shloka, how it can help our life. And irony of our life is, when we are too young to read Bhagavad Gita, then we become too self-sufficient, then we become too much happy, then too busy, and then too tired, and then it becomes too late, right? So we miss out the bus every lifetime after lifetime. And game is not of, this is how it's meant to be, what we are talking about. You could be a monk doing meditation and thinking about the world, or you could be a dude, in a dapper dress, in a car, and at the same time thinking about God. Okay. So detachment is not that you should own nothing, but nothing should own you. That is the whole concept. Nothing should own you. Your mind should always be in godly consciousness. Never miss out on the big picture. That is the key concept. All right. With that said, any questions from anyone? By the way, I wanted to bring in a bit of a discussion on Karm Yog, but that was probably for tomorrow. But any questions so far? Or I can tell a story as well, okay, if you want. Action in action in action in action story. Okay, I got a thumbs up from Jyoti, so that means nobody wants to ask anything. So was it too loaded, or was it a simple concept, Karm Yoga? It is simple, at least theoretically, we can keep on thinking, but if you think about the depth of it, it takes practice to get there. Because we are so conditioned to thinking about our self-interest first. Okay, what is in it for me? What am I going to get? Kind of a deal. Now here you have to think about how can I, how do I bring God into the mix and say it's for your pleasure? Yes, Shyamji.
Yes, Shyamji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. It's simple, I think, because as of now, we were working for our own selves, our enjoyment. And now, when we know the real picture, so we might work for the God's pleasure and see how it changes our life, our thoughts, our inner self.
True.
I guess that's what it is, right?
Yes. So these are the 4 principles we are talking about. Do your duty, do not concern yourself with the results. That's the first principle of Karm Yoga. Second is the fruits of your actions are not for your enjoyment. We have spoken why, right? We have gone in great detail to talk about each one of these. What is the science behind this? And even while working, give up the pride of doership and do not be attached to inaction. Now let's look at some scenarios, Karm Yoga or not. Now, if you're doing your, we cannot focus if we think about God. Is it true or false?
False. Sorry.
We can focus. Yeah, that's true. It's false actually. We can focus. Basically, if you think about God, we cannot focus. Is it true? It's false actually. It can happen. So God is not saying, think about me. He's saying, your attachment should be with me. Let me explain this concept. It can confuse a lot of people. They say, how am I going to think about God, Krishna, Ram, or Devi Ma, or whoever your Ishtadev is when I'm doing my work? How can I do that? God is not saying just think about me. He's saying Arjun is fighting the battle, and that requires a lot of sophistication. What Karm Yoga means, your attachment should be to God. Now you say, what does that mean? How can you build an attachment to God while working? So I'll tell you, you do that in your day-to-day life as well. Okay. Let's say there is a guy who's going to have a party on Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Okay. So he's thinking about having that party to friend, but he's working during the day. But his attachment is to that party, looking forward to that party that is going to happen in the evening, right? Or a drunkard, if he's thinking about that, throughout the day, if he's going to have a drinks party in the evening. Or let me give you another example. Let's say there's a CEO of a company, right? She's working as a very sharp CEO, taking decision on a day-to-day basis. You think her attachment is to the job and work? No. Attachment is to the family, status, prestige, and money. If somebody offers the CEO 2 times the money, they will not mind switching the jobs. So their attachment is somewhere else, but they are still performing the job. So God is saying Karm Yoga is attachment. Your mind should be riveted to God while you're performing your action. Like a mother, when she's teaching in the school, her mind is riveted to her kids. She never forgets she's a mother, even though she's teaching everybody. So that level of consciousness can only come when we repeatedly contemplate on this concept and try to bring it in our day-to-day lives as best as we can in every activity that we're doing. Okay. So the focus, we don't lose focus while doing even the most sophisticated. It's the attachment part of it. I'm doing it for your pleasure. You have given me this ability. I'll do it to the best of my ability for your pleasure, and you own the results for that. Okay. So that is the thing. Then performing your social duties towards family, kids, relative, friends sincerely and honestly. Is it Karm Yoga? A lot of people say, I perform my duties. I mean, is it Karm Yoga? Would you call it as a Karm Yoga? No. Anybody wants to take this question? A lot of people, they say, I do that. So I don't even need scriptural. I'm just being honest with everything and I do my duty properly. Yes, Sandhya, you want to add something?
Yeah, please go ahead, Sandhya.
It is minus God, then it is not Karm Yog.
True. Yes, Preeti ji, want to add something?
Yes. Preeti ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Same as Sandhya ji said, I mean, sincerely and honestly, these are the keywords. They are good. But then my mind is attached to the fruits of the duty. Then it is not.
True. Very true. It's a very important concept to understand. People think it is their duty to, love kids and all that is fine. It is a responsibility. But when the attachment comes to them, it's not a karma yoga. You will do karma and vikarma. You cannot do a karma then. Okay. Will do karma when you are doing it for their happiness, whatever it might be. But you are doing a karma when you are, you might end up doing a karma as well, where you might be stifling their growth. A lot of, parents or people, they start demanding things which might stifle the growth of other persons. You might be doing vikarma as well. So we don't know. We are again playing in the binding zone. But if we do it, that this is an obligation or it's a responsibility, I'm a trustee of them. They belong to God before they belong to me, right? And it's a privilege for me to take care of them and help them along. If you do it with that consciousness, then it becomes Karm Yog for the pleasure of God. So yes, you can do Karm Yog, but your consciousness has to be pure. Attachment is unholy, actually. It doesn't help anybody. You are not only derailing your own spiritual journey, but you could be stifling somebody else as well with your misplaced attachment there. So that is definitely not Karm Yoga if God is not in the mix, and if you're not doing it with a bigger purpose or understanding around it. Then doing Seva is always Karm Yoga. Anybody for that? This is a pretty interesting one. When you're doing Seva, is it Karm Yoga? Arnima has raised hands.
Radhe Radhe and Nimaji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, I think even if you're doing seva, if you don't have your mind thinking are attached to God, I don't think that would become a Karm Yoga, even if you are acting that you're doing a seva.
True. So Seva, even in Seva world, if we a lot of people do Seva as a rebound. They can do Seva as a rebound as well, in the sense, okay, there's nothing better to do, so let's do Seva, which is a great thing because you don't get Seva just like that. Actually, truly speaking, any kind of Seva that comes our way is the fruit of sadhana. That is how precious Seva is. But now we have a golden opportunity to do the Seva and take our spiritual journey to another level altogether. And the unfortunate part is, if we don't understand it well, there also we are capping it. Seva itself is very auspicious to do. But if then we get stuck in, puny desires and puny things there, then we are limiting our potential as well. And people can get stuck. It can happen. The traps of Maya are infinite. Now you need name, you need visibility, you need fame, you want a significant role in something. All those things can play tricks to your mind. So Seva may or may not be, depending upon the consciousness and the that you bring to the table while performing that activity. Okay. Yes, Shweta ji.
Please go ahead, Shweta ji. Radhe Radhe. Let me try unmuting you again. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. I mean, you do anything for God, it has to be with lot of love. Kripaluji Maharaj has explained that in one of his videos, that don't go through the motions, just do it with love. And that is how I think he said there was one concept about manas puja and all that. Even if you lack anything, in terms of having enough material for puja, you imagine you are doing it for God with lot of love. So how can you say when you do seva, you take the God out of it? I mean, God is there, and you have that feeling towards God, the love.
It can happen at times. See, we are work in progress. It's not like a switch. We turn it on and turn it off. That consciousness can play tricks with you as well, right? If we are a very advanced level sadhak, sure. But if we are simply entered into the seva, it's not like right from the word go and throughout your seva, you will be able to maintain that bhav. Right? We need to practice that, and it's a bit of a journey there as well.
Okay, so you are saying when you do any duties towards our, people in this world, like the worldly duties, then you should not have that love aspect while doing
Why
karma,
not?
but you
See,
should have that while you are doing seva for
no, even
God,
with
right?
world also it should have. I
Is
didn't
that correct?
No, I didn't say that. With the world you should not have.
I'm not able to hear you, Nitinji.
Are you able to hear me, or my voice is not coming? Everybody is able to hear. Shwetaji, you may have
Yes.
audio on your side. See, anything and everything that we do, we should do with love, because that helps build our sanskars, right? And when we do it with love, then we don't find faults in anybody, right? When you do it with love, everything will be done with, what can I do for you kind of a deal, not that what can I get from you. So in general, it's good practice, but it's a journey. We are not there yet. We are so conditioned that in everything we first look at our self-interest. But if we approach everything with love, we'll not have a problem with anybody at all. We will only try to help them overcome their frailties and their deficiencies. We will not try to point them out and call them up and basically find faults in people and get angry with them. But that is an ideal goal. It's pretty far off, right? Only when we have worked on ourselves and gained so much of spiritual strength can we do that.
So
So
where there is love, you get automatically
yeah,
attached, like for example, your children, your family, your
not
spouse.
necessarily. Not necessarily. You
Okay,
can
can you
love.
explain that? Can you give an example and explain it, please?
See, if you talk about Guru and God, they love us, right? But do you think they're attached? They're detached at the same. It's called detached attachment, because they understand the big picture at the same time as well. You don't have to love somebody, or you don't have to be attached. You can love and still be detached. It is quite possible. That is the whole practice. It doesn't mean if you love somebody, you have to be attached to them. Not necessarily. Okay, you can ask Swamiji this question. It's a pretty interesting question, actually. It's called detached attachment, where you love because that's what you can offer to anybody. But that doesn't mean now you're attached and your mind is riveted to that person, and then you have expectations, and now you will feel misery if that thing is snatched away from you. You don't get into that. Both can coexist.
Yeah, but there is a gray zone there. It doesn't take too long for you to slip into attachment while you are performing duties.
And that is where knowledge comes in handy, right? Jat Bharat, he was such a big sage. He fell in that attachment with a small deer, and he had to repeat as a deer, right? Bhagavatam story is there.
Yeah.
And that's where knowledge comes in.
Okay.
You have to have sufficient contemplation. That is why we can't undermine or underestimate the power of knowledge. We have to keep it at the back of our mind always.
And also cannot underestimate power of Maya also.
That is very true. We cannot see, navigating through Maya in this world is like navigating when we are on a highway or we are driving. We are always alert. If you are not alert, savdhani hati, durghatna ghati, they say, right?
Yeah.
Somebody can come, hit, or somebody can come. So we got to be very careful. And this Maya is so strong that even if you think, right, you're on the path of Seva, or you have heard Bhagavad Gita and you've been talking about it, you'll not even be taking a huge turn, but with small maneuverings, you would have taken a U-turn in life. You won't even realize that. That is how powerful Maya is.
Yeah, I remember Maharaj's in one of his videos, he said, all of you, aap log yahan baithe ho listening to me, but the moment the lecture is over, the discourse is over, kisi ka dhakka lagta hai, to then you get upset. So he says, even after finishing and listening to me, it's hard to practice. It is
True.
hard to practice.
And that is where devotion comes in handy, where it not only removes ignorance, but it also burns the seed. It's like when you cut a grass, the grass will come back again. But when you do devotion, it will burn the seeds of that grass as well. So that is why doing devotion or emotional meditation is very important for us to actually burn the reason for those impurities that are within us. And this is an impurity which causes attachment, or self-seeking nature causes attachment. It's our self-seeking nature, our conditioned state, that actually is the root cause of that, actually, where we keep on getting attached to the material things, objects, opulences, or whatever it might be. Okay. Sandhya, you want to add?
Thank you. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Shwetaji.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
So in the case of God, attachment and love both exist in the case of divine realm. So can we say that when it is said that we are supposed to have love in the material realm as well, it is basically loving the divine aspect in every
True.
individual.
So whatever is our handicap in the material world becomes our asset in the divine world. Okay. So if you get attached to all pure God or Guru, it's a good thing. You can use that attachment. You can use your anger in the divine realm as well to become angry on yourself. So that why are we not progressing even though we have access to some, the best knowledge on this planet? You can become greedy, that I need more of it. I need more of satsang. I need more of knowledge, and I need more of seva. You can become greedy. So all these things are more on the material side. When you dovetail it on the spiritual side, they can become your assets. And you can use love and attachment to your advantage in that sense. And Bhakti Path is all about having that love, faith, and attachment towards your God and Guru. So Krishna would love if you fall in love with Krishna, right? So that is how it goes. Yes, by the way, we have a retreat coming up.
Yes.
If you have not signed up, don't wait, please sign up. Okay, it's at a very nominal price. I think 500 rupees and $50 for the retreat, and the knowledge that you're going to get is going to be priceless, and experience as well. So don't sit on the fence, simply sign up for it. Online retreat. We start from September 2nd to 4th. And I'm eagerly waiting for it and looking forward to meeting a lot of you in person there as well.
And followed by is Janmashtami celebrations as well.
Yes. We
So,
will have dahi handi. There's not going to be dahi in that handi. We'll get chocolates, but the build-up and the act will be exactly like dahi handi. So please come over. It's going to be an amazing event. Always do. Yes.
And online registration is also open in case whoever is unable to come to Dallas. Yeah. So please take advantage of that. I feel sometimes sad that we are far. We are not living in Dallas. We can't attend all the wonderful events that keep happening in Dallas. It looks like Dallas is the place to move for everyone.
Yes, Pallavi, come over. We need all the help here. So
yes.
If you have plans to come to Dallas, we can facilitate that for you. Okay. And please fill out the feedback tracker. You can mention I want to come to Dallas in that as well. Okay.
Yes. Shyamji has raised his hand. So I have shared the link for link to feedback tracker. Please go ahead and fill in, put your comments, questions, and feedback.
We'll have a concluding session on Karm Yog, another session. So if you have any questions related to any situation, please fill in. We'll bring it to the session. You can choose to remain anonymous. But if there is anything and you think, this Karm Yoga, how will we apply it in practical life in this scenario, we will be more than happy to take it up in our upcoming sessions. Tomorrow is quiz, by the way. So tomorrow we'll not discuss this aspect. Tomorrow is quiz plus presentation by Vinamra team. So 2 things that we are looking forward to. And for quiz, please come in early, okay? Because we will give a good amount of time, at least last 15 minutes or 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to the team to do their presentation and Q&A. So we'll like to try a little early, start a little early the quiz. So please try to make it on time at 8:30, 7:30, and 9 p.m. sharp CST.
Yeah. Nitinji, just there's a question in chat from Seema ji. Bhaiya, I missed one of your points and wanted to ask whether it's okay if we fight for Seva. Like, I'll only make reels for Mahadev or Krishna and no one else. Is it acceptable to fight for such
I
things?
think God makes discounts, right, on the Seva world. Even when we get selfish with our Seva and stuff, I had asked this question to Swamiji, that, we become very territorial about our Sevas and selfish about our Sevas and these. So he said, this much slack God cuts basically for us. He understands, at least we are doing Seva, right? So that's okay. You do, whatever works for you. But make sure that fight does not translate to exchanging blows. That's all it is. Yes, Seema, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Seema, you want to ask something?
Yeah,
You want
please
to ask
go
something?
ahead. Please go ahead, Seema ji.
Radhe Radhe Pallavi di, Radhe Radhe Bhaiya, Radhe Radhe everybody. Sorry Bhaiya, I think that was a typo. Right? I just wanted to add that not only for Mahadev, but particularly for Mahadev and Krishna, that I will only make it and no one else can. That.
See, sharing is caring, right? So if only you will do, then what will other people do? But yeah, whatever you can do, it's a good sentiment to have. I think God will be extremely, he might be giving you a eye smile that, she wants to work for me only. But yeah, see as best as you can share. But if you only can do it and you can control it, sure, go for it. Go for the fight.
Okay.
Do more
Yeah.
of it. That's fine. Perfectly okay. Because I know who all you can fight with. So I think you're safe.
Okay. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Seema ji. Thanks for waiting, Prabhat ji. Please go ahead, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Prabhat.
Nitinji, I want to ask, like, if we want to do as much as Roop Dhyan, we want to listen to bhajans most of the time, and we want to, listen to pastime of Krishna. So in that case, if it is coming from our inside, like we have to do it as much as possible. And after some time, we think like we have to do this only, and we have to, we have to throughout do dhyan. We don't want to do anything else. If this is something when we are not doing anything else beyond it, behind it, like we are doing these things only. So is there any relation with Karm Yog? Like we are sitting one place and we are thinking about, we are listening to songs, the bhajans. So
yeah, I get that. See, we are in the station of life that we are in. I think once we assess that, right, if we are in a family life, householder life, then that responsibilities have to be balanced as well. So Karm Yog can be done along with your responsibilities. Now, let's say you are a Karm sannyasi. Even if you have no social duties that you have renounced because of your past sanskars and maybe because you were ready for it under the expert guidance of Guru, there also you have to pick and choose. Now it's like you start getting bliss in sadhana, right? People don't want to get off their samadhis because it's a very blissful, intoxicating experience. Now, the bliss of sadhana or seva, that's a question at that point, right? Because for seva, you have to go out and interact in the world and sacrifice your bliss of sadhana in that case, right? So in that case, whenever there's a conflict, seva takes precedence, especially if you want to go for nishkamta and a higher price of God. If you go with the bliss of sadhana, you will build kubja sanskars for your own sake, your own bliss. If you do seva, you will build gopi sanskars for the sake of the beloved. So that is how it goes. So seva might make you, might take longer for you, but then the price would be higher. So between seva and sadhana, nishkamta would come from seva, not from sadhana will help you progress. So ideally, we should have a good dose of both. Sadhana is like sharpening the axe, and then once the axe is sharpened, you go out and cut woods. Because all sadhana will only build selfish sanskars. So we have to give up that as well. In fact, Maharaji there was a guy who used to be in bhav all the time, okay, like sitting like this. Swamiji told me the story. Always in bhav, he would not get off from sadhana. And Maharaji put him in a chemist shop, and he said, my head is like, beating now to deal with the world. So the point is, end of the day, if we have to become the profitable servant of God and claim our rightful position as one of his anshi, then we have to do seva. Seva is the key thing.
But when we think about this thing, like we can do seva and other things, then also there is chance of getting Maya again. Like there is a fear, like when we indulge into other things, and if we are doing those, so then again we will go to some again, matlab that particular thing which will take us far from God. So this is something which
Two things. I got your question. So of course you got to be careful about how much you want to expose. You will get that idea. The first thing is your sadhana has to be pakka so that you can face the world. Okay. But even if it's not there and you are still doing seva with the right bhav, then the person for whom you are doing seva, they also have to do something for you as well, right? They'll take care of you. Okay, it's not like it's free of cost. You are putting yourself at risk, and for the Guru and God that you are putting your own sadhana at risk, they will not do anything for you. They also have to do something, right? Make it their freaking problem. Not everything you have to do on your own. So that thing happens as well. But the key is you have to do it with the right bhav, what you're doing. But at the same time, it's a good practice. Like Swamiji says, sadhana, make it a non-negotiable part of your routine, because that will enable you, that will give you the spiritual strength to face the world and then do things in a proper consciousness. But the risk that you are taking, you get reward for that. Okay, it's not unaccounted for. Guru knows. You could have spent that time doing your sadhana, so he will reward you. Be rest assured about that. I hope I answered your question. Sorry, Pallaviji, you're on mute.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, you were on mute. I just heard so much. This much. Okay, so I think we had a pretty good discussion. We can move to our dessert segment now. Do we have participants who want to participate today? Minuji.
Minuji.
See, when I become what you call that accent oriented, then I said Minuji also Minuji. Okay, it's not Minuji. Yes, Minuji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Vinodji actually today.
This is Mr. Minu.
Okay, Mr. Minuji.
Nitin, I want to talk about two things.
Sure.
One was a doha that impressed me quite a bit when you were talking about a few days back about trees with laden fruits, how they bend down.
Right.
And the other thing I want to talk about is Kahoot. So let me talk about the doha. I was very impressed with the doha when I first heard it. And it goes like this. बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ जैसे पेड़ खजूर बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ जैसे पेड़ खजूर पंथी को छाया नहीं फल लगे अति दूर. So I have been very impressed, and I chatted with Mr. Google, and it is a Kabir Das doha.
Yes.
So I think it just goes to show that we need to be humble.
Very true. Very true.
The second thing is our experience with Kahoot. Minuji and I have been taking the Kahoot, participating there, but in the background. And it happens to be that it is during our dinner time, so we are not fully engaged. But one of your devotees was so persistent and enthusiastic and wanted us to participate. To make a long story short, we did. 2 weeks ago, I tried it, and of course, with multiple devices and connection issues and all that, you have to know how to get on with Kahoot. So anyways, to make a long story short, I got kicked out quite a few times and don't have the best connection here. We are up in the hills here. So I was on a streak of six answers, but anyways, got distracted and wasn't able to continue very well. Going back to the last week was much better. We both were anticipating it and did much better. And we are so involved now. You keep talking about, we spend so much time here, you getting all these words of wisdom, but unless you do Chintan, which we weren't, at least I was not doing, it was very refreshing to get that knowledge, reinforced. So now we have changed our schedule. Our dinner schedule is changed. We are looking forward to the Kahoot. And thanks to your wonderful devotee, I will name her now. She was very persistent and enthusiastic. It's Miss Kavita, the poet in amidst us. So she was instrumental in getting us involved. So my message to all of you is, you folks who are not contemplating or on the fence, please join in, because it's a lot of fun. You are having a good time with friends, as well as, more importantly, reinforcing the language, the spiritual knowledge that Nitinji is providing. Radhe Radhe.
Swamiji's knowledge, I'm just facilitating, but yeah, thank you so much, Vinodji, for giving a short speed on Kahoot. So I would encourage all of you to come forward. Now Vinodji has made it, he's realigned his dinner around it. So you all should take inspiration from that and come over. We need to break the record of 50 tomorrow. And by the way, tomorrow is our photo day as well. Okay, so we will do 50 and we will do a presentation and a photo. So many events are going to happen tomorrow. So thank you so much, Vinodji. And it's pretty competitive, I can tell you that, I need a big screen and a very good horsepower processor to actually be able to finish up at the podium. I have realized that even if I get it right, fast, it doesn't work because I need a big screen. It has to be even faster. So I'll try to do something tomorrow. But anyways, thank you, Kavita, Chiki, for getting Vinodji, and always a pleasure to hear from you. And I'm sure we can get close to 50 mark tomorrow. Okay, now are we moving to our devotional segment?
Yes, we are moving to the devotional segment now.
Okay, we have 3 hands. Sure, please go ahead, Prabhat, starting with you, and then Sandhya is there and Payalji is there as well. Time permitting, maybe I can do that as well. Go ahead, please.
So
Radhe Radhe Prabhatji. Yeah, please go ahead.
I have also shared the screen. I'm going to just recite the bhajan. जो किया रुचि महारुचि राखे जो पिया रुचि महारुचि राखे रे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जो पिया रुचि महारुचि राखे रे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जेई कर्मना नेक भावे रे जेहि ज्ञान हूँ नहीं सुहावे रे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जो कुरी रखे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जो स्वर्ग नरक समझाने रे जो मुक्ति पिशाचिनी माने रे जो प्रिय रुचि महारुचि राखे रे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे नाही रिद्धि सिद्धि ओढ़ राखे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जो मधुर भाव अपनावे रे यमे चारि हुन भाव सामे रे समावे रे जो नीच सुख पुर नहीं राखे रे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जो पिय रुचि महारुचि राखे रे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे जेहि हरि हरि जन ही भावे रे कहु अनत ना टुक मन लावे रे जो पुर कृपालु हरि राखे प्रेम रस सोई चाखे रे।
Radhe Radhe Prabhat, thank you very much. I think your co-hosting the bhajan session is doing its trick now. So beautiful bhajan, wrote it with Tattva Gyan. So thank you so much for that. All right. So who's next? Sandhya, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
Same music, another beautiful bhajan by Maharaj Ji. So I'll just sing a few lines.
Sure.
नित्य सेवा मांगू क्षमा श्याम तेरी, ना भुक्ति नाही मुक्ति मांगू मैं। नित्य सेवा मांगू क्षमा श्याम तेरी, ना भुक्ति नाही मुक्ति मांगू मैं। बड़े भक्ति निष्काम नित मेरी, ना भुक्ति नाही मुक्ति मांगू मैं। नित्य सेवा मांगू सेवा 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 मांगू क्षमा श्याम तेरी, ना भुक्ति नाही मुक्ति मांगू मैं। तेरी इच्छा में इच्छा बनाती रहूं, तेरे सुख में ही सुख नित पाती रहूं। बस चाह इह एक मेरी, ना भुक्ति नाही मुक्ति मांगू मैं। नित्य सेवा मांगू क्षमा श्याम तेरी, ना भुक्ति नाही मुक्ति मांगू मैं। श्री राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, श्री राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, श्री राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, श्री राधे राधे गोविंद राधे।
Beautiful, beautiful bhajan. This pretty much sums up the philosophy of Maharaj Ji. All we need to do is seva, and we need to keep on increasing that. That's all it is. Very beautifully sung, and thank you so much for bringing it to our session, Sandhya. This beautiful bhajan. So who's next? Pallavi ji is going to sing as well today. So Payal ji and then
Yeah.
Pallavi, please.
Yeah, I'm also today inspired to sing
Sure,
some
sure, please
beautiful.
go for
Yes.
it. Go for it.
Yeah. Payal ji is waiting, so go ahead, Payal ji. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe, everyone. कान्हा कान्हा कब से पुकारूं, हर पल तेरी राह निहारूं। कान्हा कान्हा कब से पुकारूं, हर पल तेरी राह निहारूं। बीती जाए अपनी उमरिया, अब तो दर्श दिखा दो मुरे कान्हा, अब तो दर्श दिखा दो। कान्हा कान्हा कब से पुकारूं, हर पल तेरी राह निहारूं। जब से तुम संग नैना लागे और कहीं ना लागे, जब से तुम संग नैना लागे और कहीं ना लागे, दरस के प्यासे मोरे नैना दिन रहना है जागे, दिन रहना है जागे। अब तो आकर मेरे कान्हा नैनों की प्यास बुझा दो, मुरे कान्हा नैनों की प्यास बुझा दो। ओ कान्हा कान्हा कब से पुकारूं हर पल तेरी राह निहारूं, बीती जाए अपनी उमरिया अब तो दरस दिखा दो, मुरे कान्हा अब तो दरस दिखा दो, मुरे कान्हा अब तो दरस दिखा दो। राधे राधे, थैंक यू।
Radhe Radhe Palji, so beautiful. No words to say that, and I think your seva is to sing only. Like for some scene, the seva is to write bhajans only. Your seva is to sing only. So please keep singing. Okay, our sessions.
Yeah.
So nice, very nice. Loved it. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that.
Very melodious bhajan, Payalji. It feels like you keep continue singing and we keep listening. Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a long bhajan maybe one of these days. Maybe a bhajan session only on some occasion. Thank you so much for that. All right. Yes, Pallavi ji, please go.
Yes, I'm going to sing Meera bhajan today, inspired by Meera songs. So, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, वस्तु अमूलिक दी मेरे सतगुरु, वस्तु अमूलिक दी मेरे सतगुरु, कृपा कर अपनायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, खर्चे न खूटे चोर न लूटे, खर्चे न खूटे चोर न लूटे, दिन दिन बढ़त सवायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर, हरख हरख जस गायो, पायो जी मैंने हरख हरख जस गायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, राम Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Pallavi ji. Very, very nice. The voice modulation, pitch is just so amazing. Thank you for singing after a while today. Loved it.
Yeah, thank you for opportunity.
Today we are having a special gourmet, I guess, one after another. So thank you so much. Urvi, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Urvi ji.
a
Yeah,
while.
go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Urvi,
I'm
go.
on.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. गुरु चरण कमल बलिहार. Do it. Okay. Okay, I'll sing tomorrow.
What happened? What happened, Urvi? You want to sing tomorrow? Tomorrow or today?
I'll sing tomorrow.
Okay. All right, all right. No worries. You can sing tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
I can sing today. Okay, I can sing today. 2 minutes. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. गुरु चरण कमल बलिहार. गुरु पर तन मन धनवार. गुरु चरण धूरी सिरवार. गुरु महिमा अपरंपार. यह है भव सिंधु अपार. नर दीन नाम अनुभार. नाविक सतगुरु सरकार. गुरु महिमा अपरंपार. जो समझा दे श्रुति सार. उर भरा प्रेम रिझवा. गुरु सोई कृपालु सरकार. गुरु महिमा परंपार. गुरु चरण कमल बलिहार. गुरु पर तन मन धनवार. गुरु चरण धूरी सिर थार. गुरु महिमा अपरंपार. राधे राधे. थैंक यू.
Radhe Radhe, Urvi. Very nice. Glad you were able to finish it today. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And okay, I see 10 hands. No, 10 fingers, 20 fingers rather, 4 hands. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sister duo. Monica ji,
Please go
ahead.
Radhe Radhe, everyone.
Radhe Radhe, everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो. अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो. कि दर पे सुदामा गरीब आ गया है. कि दर पे सुदामा गरीब आ गया है. भटकते भटकते न जाने कहाँ से. भटकते भटकते न जाने कहाँ से. तुम्हारे महल के करीब आ गया है. तुम्हारे महल के करीब आ गया है. न सर पे है पगड़ी न तन पे है जामा. बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा. हाँ, बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा।
न सर पे है पगड़ी न तन पे है जामा,
बता कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा, हाँ बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा।
एक बार मोहन से जाकर कह दो,
एक बार मोहन से जाकर ये कह दो कि मिलने सखा बद नसीब आ गया है, कि मिलने सखा बद नसीब आ गया है। हरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो कि दर पे सुदामा गरीब आ गया है। सुनते ही दौड़े चले आए मोहन, लगाया गले से सुदामा को मोहन, हाँ लगाया गले से सुदामा को मोहन। हुआ रुक्मणी को बहुत ही अचंभा, हुआ रुक्मणी को बहुत ही अचंभा।
ये मेहमान कैसा अजीब आ गया है, ये मेहमान कैसा अजीब आ गया है। ओ अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो,
हरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो कि दर पे सुदामा गरीब आ गया है। बराबर में अपने सुदामा बैठाए, चरण आंसुओं से श्याम ने धुलाए, हाँ चरण आंसुओं से श्याम ने धुलाए। न घबराओ प्यारे जरा तुम सुदामा, न घबराओ प्यारे जरा तुम सुदामा।
खुशी का समा तेरे करीब आ गया है, खुशी का समा तेरे करीब आ गया है।
अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो, अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो कि दर पे सुदामा गरीब आ गया है।
Beautiful. I think Shri Ramya ji said that it should have been part of yesterday as well, right? Very nicely sung. This is a very, very beautiful bhajan doing the rounds, and you guys, Laddu was laughing in between, but I think you
No भैया,
uh,
I was coughing. I
were
was not.
coughing. Okay, okay. Very nicely sung. Thank you so much for that. And I think you were singing, and the more your singing was intensifying, the more Kavita was crying. I don't know what was going on. Years of joy, I guess. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful session. Thank you so much for your enthusiastic participation. And get ready for the quiz tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thank you again for your really, really enthusiastic participation and for the wonderful set of bhajans to round off the session. So with that, let's wrap it up today's session. Have a wonderful day, a splendid evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you. Radhe Radhe. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Radhe Radhe. Good night.
Thank you.
Stay blessed. Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Nitin ji.
Thank you.